This is 5 Minute Feng Shui podcast episode 176, 9 decorating fixes for common feng shui problems. Welcome to the 5 Minute Feng Shui podcast, where each week I talk about how to move energy and make money. You'll learn how to create a prosperous home and an abundant life using classical Chinese feng shui. I'm your host, Katie Weber, publisher of the Red Lotus Letter, Feng Shui Easing for Wealth. Each week, I'll cover feng shui topics that can help you improve your life, share inspiring stories, and always end with 3 easy-to-implement feng shui tips that you can put to work right away, and usually in about 5 minutes. Now let's get started on the 5 minutes that could change your life. Hi, my feng shui friend. We are talking today about decorating hacks that are easy to do and manage those perplexing feng shui problems. You know, everything doesn't have to be handled with a wind chime or a frog in feng shui. Yep, you can just use regular old decorating, because I know we all don't want to have our house look like a Asian emporium or have weird things hanging from the ceiling that when your guests come over, they say, "What is that? That makes no sense to me. Why is that flute hanging there?" And that's uncomfortable to have to answer those kind of questions. And because everybody has a home that usually has something that needs to be fixed in their home, because few homes have perfect feng shui. So rather than having to hang a wind chime or adding weird crystals hanging in a hallway or something like that, you can make simple decorative changes that will make your look and feel of the feng shui changes that you're making feel more natural. These decorative elements can remedy difficulties like poison arrows that come from a front and back door alignment, or maybe odd windows or slanted walls. So let's go through some of these important things that you can use to fix problems in your home and do it decoratively and attractively. So the first one is Partier Curtains. I love Partier curtains. Those are the types of curtains that you will often see dividing one room from another. Sometimes they're hung over a doorway. They are decidedly old-fashioned. They were once a staple of the Victorian era, and they were used to close off or create or delineate one area of the house from another, or maybe close off a room to provide better heating in the room. And they've been turning up recently in more decorating circles. I've seen them in more decorating magazines and websites. So when do you use Partier curtains? These are really helpful when you have a front door and a back door that are in line with one another. Or maybe you've got a window that you can see out of when you open your front door. By hanging a Partier curtain, you can stop that view and that rush of energy going out of your house and the money that goes with it. Because there's also there's an effect that happens when you open the door and you can see from front to back. There is energy that when it's afflicted, so for instance, if you have a front door that's facing a direction that has an affliction that year, and then you have that front door back door alignment, it can mean that can be very harmful for you. And I've seen that happen. I've seen it happen with broken legs, broken arms, all kinds of diagnoses that nobody wants. And the other thing is that money flies through your door like that. Now, a lot of times the doorways aren't completely in line. That's very unusual. But sometimes what happens is you have this view that you can see out the back. And what we want to do is create an obstacle to the view. And typically, you'll see homes that they close off the back view out the back of the house. And to me, that's just the opposite of what you should do. You should preserve the view at the back of the house where your family lives and cut off the view at the front of the house where your delivery man is going to be at. You don't want to have him see your entire house, but you want to have that decorative and beautiful view and have something that stops your eye from going out immediately. Now, another way that you can use this same technique is with decorative screens. This is another way to stop that rushing energy from the front door when it lines up with the back door or window. Screens can be also used to create a corner in an open concept house. Maybe you've got an open concept living room and it doesn't actually have a corner. You can put screens on a 90-degree angle like that and create a sort of a corner, if you will. You can also use it to block a view. So, for instance, if you open your front door and you can see into the dining room, your dining room represents assets, and it's pretty much like leaving your bank account information lying open. You don't want to do that. So, if you can put either a Partier curtain that kind of blocks the view of the dining room, or you can put a screen there and that also blocks that view. This is a great way to keep that your assets private, to feel like your money is staying in your accounts, that you're amassing money. And when you can see from the front door straight into your living room, it can create an excessive bill and a low accumulation of assets. So it's worth blocking that view so that you don't have a wide open view. And decorative screens are also great, especially if you have a bedroom where the command position wall has a window on it. So if you put your bed on the command position wall, then you'd have a window behind it. Well, that's not good feng shui. So one of the ways you can handle that is just by putting a screen against the window. Of course, you can still do that by doing a whole wall of curtains, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But the idea of putting the screen over the window is that it creates a false wall. And then you can put your bed on in the command position, and it will create support for you and support for anyone who sleeps in that bedroom. So this is a really great way to use a decorative fix for a feng shui problem. Let's talk about mirrors. Beautiful mirrors are always an asset, but they can also solve two common feng shui problems. The first is a wayward column. Now, you often don't see square columns in a home. You'll more often see those in houses. But if you have a column, even if it's a round one, you could square it off, and then you can cover it with mirror. When you have a column in your office or home, it becomes an obstacle or sort of a sore thumb. It draws your attention to a negative. By adding mirrors on all four sides, you kind of make that column disappear visually. So this is a really helpful way of making them all go away. And I remember when I went to Lillian Tu's offices in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, years ago. They had big square columns, and on all the columns they had mirrors and they had plants in front of it. So they kind of just went away. I thought it was a really unique way of handling those columns. Now, mirrors are also wonderful for doubling views, and they're also helpful when you have a missing corner. So, if, like for instance, if you have an L-shaped home, you can add a mirror to a wall where the corner would have been, and then that creates the illusion of space that extends from the mirror. This is a great way to kind of visually make the room go deeper and add depth to the room as if the corner were there. So I really like this idea because mirrors don't just push, they also pull. They'll pull you in, which is one of the reasons why they're good to add at the back of a store. If you happen to have a boutique or a store, they will pull energy in. Now, mirrors also push. This is also one of the reasons why I never recommend that you have a mirror opposite your front door, because they'll push all the energy right back out. Let's talk about vines. Now, vines growing on a house, like on the brick or the outside of your house, this is not good feng shui, because then that means the plant is just going to suck up all your good energy and your health and vitality too. So if you've got a round pole, maybe that's awkwardly placed in your home or business, wrapping a vine around it makes it disappear into nature. And you can use vines whether on indoor or outdoor poles, especially those odd poles that show up in basements. I really like this idea of wrapping a vine around those poles, kind of making those disappear. The same thing you can do, again, is to square it off and enclose that pole in and put mirror on it. But that gives you two options. You can either have a pretty plant there and then wrap vines around it, or you can square it off and add mirrors. This is one of the big problems that we often see in feng shui, is those weird poles and columns. So you've got two ways to handle it. Now let's talk about canopy beds. Canopies, whether they're attached to the bed or the wall or ceiling, can offer you great feng shui. Not only are they just beautiful to look at, they're very romantic, they create a focal point in the bedroom, they're also protective of the couple in the bed, and they're great looking. You look at almost any design magazine, every time I look at bedrooms, almost all of them have at least one canopy bed. Canopies are just design candy. They are eye candy for your bedroom. So in addition to solving problems, they're also beautiful and good feng shui. But they're also great fixes for beams. If you have beams on the ceiling, slanted ceilings, coffered or tray ceilings, these ceilings create poison arrows that aim at your body while you're sleeping, which is very negative for you and can create problems with your health, can create problems with your relationship, can create a variety of difficulties for you, just feeling like you can't sleep well. Slanted ceilings in particular add pressure to those who sleep under them. So we want to use and create a flat ceiling with a canopy or some kind of fabric or curtain that helps to relieve that pressure. The idea is to create a flat overhead surface to create a protective cover or to stop poison arrows from those ceiling features. So when you're looking at making a canopy, try not to follow the slope of the room, but instead follow the slope up and then where you can make it flat to go over your bed. That's what you want to do. That's the ideal situation for a canopy, especially one under a slanted ceiling or because those are really more difficult, those slanted ceilings. So do try to make your canopy go out flat. That creates like a flat, solid surface above you. Next, let's talk about artwork. In particular, we're talking about artwork with a view. Many times when you enter a home, there will be a wall directly in front of the door. And this is a block. It can sometimes starve the house of energy by pushing that energy back out the door. And over time, this can create a house that's just starved for energy, like health and money, opportunity. But when you add art that offers a view of the distance and appears to view inwards, you help to draw chi into the house by adding a view that goes further than the wall. This helps to bring energy into the house because energy flows where the eye goes. It's one of my famous sayings I like to say is that wherever your eye is going, that's where your energy is going. So look at every room that you enter, every door you enter, where does your eye naturally go to? And if you can, add an enhancement there or make a correction if you need to. But artwork that with a view that expands is perfect for those walls that are right there where you enter a room, whether that's a bedroom or your house. Next, let's talk about lighting. Lighting is one of the best forms of feng shui. It helps to lift and brighten, and that's always good feng shui because it's yang energy. Lighting can help brighten dark corners, lift your energy, and they also lift your gaze upward. This is like such a wonderful thing to do because it engages the thinking mind, the creative mind, when you look up. And chandeliers always make you look up. A beautiful chandelier with crystals is an excellent remedy for a stairway that's too close to the front door to kind of slow down energy and money from running too quickly out the door. Crystal lighting is also excellent for calming energy in a kitchen when you have a stove and a sink opposite one another. These can create arguments and disharmony in the household. So if you can put a crystal type of lighting fixture there or put a light fixture between the two, but I really like the ones that have crystals because that holds down the energy of clashing elements of fire and water, which can create difficulty in relationships, problems getting along, and you might have also problems with health because this is a kitchen. And so we don't want to have that. But those lights that have crystals attached to them, those are perfect to put in between the two, in between the stove and the sink. Really great, easy way to fix that. Now let's talk about curtains. They can fix a lot of feng shui flaws. One common feng shui problem is when the command position in the bedroom is covered by a window where the bed should go. And because bed should be placed in the command position and never against a window, it means that the bed will be placed in a less than optimal position for feeling in command and supported during sleep, which is a vital feng shui tenet. One of the best ways that you can handle that is by just adding a solid wall of curtains behind the bed that can kind of make the window disappear. It also provides a good, solid looking backdrop for the bed. Now, in some homes, bedroom may have 2 windows in a corner or only on one side of the bed. And when you look at that, that can feel out of balance visually. And this can impact a couple or whoever sleeps in the bedroom from feeling comfortable in bed, comfortable in life, from resting properly, and just not feeling in harmony with life, or maybe feels very single in their relationship, maybe a lonely relationship. By adding a curtain on the other side of the wall or the other side of the bed without a window, you can create a faux window with curtains that helps to balance the visual look and feel of the bedroom. I actually have a client right now that has something, a similar arrangement. She's got one of those corner windows, and then on one side of the bed, and then nothing on the other side, and it feels out of balance. It feels disharmonious. And so this is one way of fixing that. Now let's talk about round shapes. This is one of the less common shapes that you find in a home. Lots of homes are full of furnishings that are square or rectangular. Just think about dressers and sofas and tables. And over time, this can create kind of a stuck, stagnant feeling in your home. You may feel like the room feels too heavy. But by adding round shapes like a round occasional table or a barrel-shaped chair, you can help to create more movement and add a lighter feeling that lifts that feeling of heaviness. And it also helps to create flow in the room. By knocking off some of the corners, energy can flow and move more easily, more readily, and that means you get more energy in your life and in opportunity, and it feels like life is moving forward instead of sort of stuck and stagnant. All right, then. Well, I hope you have had some epiphanies about decorating fixes for feng shui problems, because it don't always have to be fixed by a wind chime or by some funky looking feng shui item placed somewhere that people are going to comment. And if you do put something in a place that's like it's a feng shui cure or a remedy, it may feel odd to you. And if it feels odd to you, then that's not good feng shui. But if you can handle a flaw decoratively, that's a whole lot better, especially if when you look at it, it feels better to you. So let's talk about the top 3 things I want to talk about, and that is stopping the view from front to back. If you can open up your front door and see all the way to the back of the house and maybe out the back of the house, or if you have a front door and a back door or a window that line up, you really need to block that view, and you need to block it at the front, not at the back, because we don't spend time in our foyer. We spend time at the back of our house. That's the family space. So try to block that view. You also want to, tip number 2, block the view of your dining room. If you can see from your front door to your dining room, we want to block that view. Even you don't have to completely cut off a view. You just need to interrupt your sight so that you look at something that's closer in your field of vision. And that's enough to kind of slow that energy down. So if you can see into your dining room, it's like letting people look into your bank accounts. We don't want to do that. We want to keep those things private. Very important. Lastly, let's talk about canopy beds. I can't say it enough how good they are. They're great feng shui. They're beautiful. They're romantic, and they're protective. They also solve a lot of problems, especially if you've got beams in your bedroom, or you have some kind of odd ceiling treatment, or maybe you have slanted ceilings. You can create a canopy bed with fabric that will create a symbolic false wall that is nice and solid above you and can help stop the pressure that comes from slanted ceilings, pressure being emotional pressure, financial pressure, and intellectual pressure. I mean, you could feel like there's a lot of strain, like headaches are one of the common things. And for kids' rooms, it can also cause lack of growth. We will see a stagnant person that's just not growing and moving forward in life like you would like them to. So those canopy beds really do solve a lot of problems. They also, if you have a tray ceiling or beams, it can create poison arrows, and that can harm your health, and that can harm your relationship. And those canopies over your bed will help protect both. All right, my friend, we are at almost the 20-minute mark. I thank you for being here. Hey, if you like this episode, be sure to go to my Facebook page at facebook.com/Red Lotus Letter and like my page. And I'd appreciate that. Your vote of confidence is always nice to have. And thank you so much for listening in. I so appreciate your time and and all your comments. So thank you for sending those. Have a great week. I'll talk to you on the next episode of 5 Minute Feng Shui. Hey, thanks for listening today. Although the year of the tiger is here, it's come in with a roar, and there's going to be some big ups and downs this year, like the invasion in Ukraine. But I wrote about Putin and some of the other world leaders in the Year of the Tiger Feng Shui Forecast and Success Pack. Now, back in 2021, when I was writing this in the fall, I could see this on the horizon and I warned about it. There's other things that you're going to want to know too, like where to invest your money, where to find love, and what to expect all year. And I cover all houses and bedroom directions and every zodiac sign. The Success Pack will help you be ready for the year, be prepared, make more money, and keep fortune on your side. Check out the Year of the Tiger Feng Shui Forecast at redlotusletter.com/water tiger, all one word.